In this video, we're going to be flying from Kuala Lumpur to Singapore.
But we're not flying from Kuala Lumpur International Airport to Singapore's Changi Airport. Doing something a bit different.
Now, Singapore to Kuala Lumpur is one of the world's busiest international air routes, with close to 5 million people annually taking the 300-kilometer flight between the Asian capital. Flights are quick, generally incredibly cheap, and very frequent, with flights leaving every 30 minutes. Are there other options? Well, you can take the bus. This is slightly cheaper than flying, but can take anywhere from 5 to 7 hours depending on traffic. There is a proposed high-speed rail link between the two cities, but this is still many years away if it ever gets built at all. There is another option. FireFly, which is Malaysia Airlines' interesting attempt at a low-cost carrier, runs 6 daily flights using little propeller ATR 72s from Sultan Abdul Aziz Shah Airport, or as it's otherwise known, Subang Airport, which was Kuala Lumpur's old international airport, and currently it's like Kuala Lumpur's second small airport, to Seletar Airport, which is Singapore's second airport. Before booking this option, I had no idea that Singapore even had a second airport. I'm thinking, like, where did they put it? But we'll get to all that shortly. Subang Airport is much like any other smallish airport. There's a few shops and cafes out near the check-in area, but here's the inconvenient thing. Once you go through security and border control, you end up here. As there's only a couple of international flights that leave from Subang, all of the international travelers are sent into this rather plain room with seats, toilets, and a vending machine. Look, it's completely fine for just waiting around, but I mistakenly went through security a bit early and ended up sitting around here for 45-ish minutes. I just would have rather spent that time eating breakfast out in the check-in area. Just something to note for the future.
For your information, this flight number is FI3126, FI3126, bound for Singapore.
Now, a kind of cool, interesting thing that I realized during the safety briefing was that they didn't do the usual speech about putting on an oxygen mask in case of depressurization. And yeah, it's because this plane only cruises at 15,000 feet on short routes like this. So you could literally just open the door and everything would be fine. I don't know, it's the small things. I just thought that was really interesting. The flight was delayed, taking off 37 minutes late. But despite this, I still generally enjoyed flying on FireFly. The cabin was comfortable enough. The seats weren't super new, but they weren't super old either. It was completely comfortable for the 1-hour flight. I also somehow lucked into not having anyone sitting next to me, so that's another plus. Now, I said earlier that FireFly is Malaysia Airlines' attempt at a low-cost carrier. I said attempt because for some reason they also hand out bottles of water, nuts, and cookies on this flight, which, look, I really appreciate it, but you didn't have to do that. It's a 1-hour flight. You could have just saved a few dollars here. I guess the Malaysian hospitality is just too strong. I don't know. It was really nice. If you've never been on one of these smaller planes, then the toilets are a little bit different from what you'd expect. Firstly, they're very small, and secondly, they're kind of more similar to a camping toilet, like a porta potty, than a typical airplane toilet. This is what I mean. We landed at Seletar Airport at 11:09 a.m, so 19 minutes late. Now, Seletar Airport, what this whole video is about. Okay. This is probably one of the stranger airport experiences that I've ever had, and definitely it's the strangest international airport that I've ever been to. The terminal is absolutely tiny, but it's not just the size. I've been to small airports before. It's something about the vibe or the energy. It's more akin to like a luxury hotel, and definitely not an airport that a low-cost carrier is landing at. See, the thing is, Singapore Changi, I've got to say that now, Changi Airport has a very lovely, relaxing energy about it, but it's completely different. Changi's got like carpet on the floor and it's like a little bit dated almost, whereas this place is just like super modern and just really, really, really fancy. Even down to the music. They're playing like music throughout the terminal that just sounds like luxury hotel music. So yeah, what is this place? Why does it exist? Let's answer that at the tranquil little garden that's just a short walk away. I want to go see this garden. Can I walk across this paddock? I guess I can just walk across this paddock. It's just a paddock, right? Okay, so that's the airport there. That's the little terminal. And I think this is like the business park or something. And I'm walking across this big empty paddock that's actually quite muddy to go have a look. Probably look insane, but that's all right. I got off that plane like 10 minutes ago. It's already out of here.
What is this place?
Seletar Airport opened in 1928. It was originally a Royal Air Force military base. It did have civilian operations from 1930 through to 1947. At that point, the dedicated Kuala Airport, which was Singapore's first passenger airport, opened. It remained as a military base through World War II, and then in 1968, the airport was handed over to what would become the Civil Aviation Authority of Singapore, where it became a general aviation airport mainly for chartered flights, flight schools, and private aircraft operation. If you want to land a private jet in Singapore, this is the place to do it. Side note, if any of my subscribers happen to have a private jet, my Instagram's in the description. I'd love to hang out. I'll buy you a beer. The Changi Airport Management Group took over management of this airport in 2009, and since then the airport underwent a massive refurbishment. They upgraded the avionics and they built the new terminal that we just passed through. The whole plan was to relieve some pressure on Changi Airport by moving some of the smaller and slower aircraft traffic over from Changi to Seletar. The problem there though is that if you're connecting, it's a 20-minute drive. Yeah, that doesn't really make sense. And if you're trying to get to the city, you either have to catch a bus or a taxi. There's no train line here. Everything kind of went awry with the pandemic anyway, as FireFly is the only airline to resume flights, operating 6 daily flights here from Subang. So that was my quick trip from Kuala Lumpur to Singapore to check out Seletar. I've been saying it's Seletar the whole way through because that's how the flight attendant said it, but I just saw a video where someone called it Seletar or Seletar. I don't know. Anyway, I hope I've been pronouncing it right the whole way through. I probably haven't. Quickly before I end it, I think I should start telling you guys how much this stuff costs. So this flight was 309 Malaysian ringgit. This equates to about 109 Australian dollars or about 66 US dollars. This price does include 20 kilograms of baggage. All FireFly flights seem to come with checked baggage. So again, it's not really a low-cost carrier. So yeah, it's not the cheapest option, but it's definitely not the most expensive option on this route. And I could see that if you live in either Singapore or Kuala Lumpur, it could be quite a nice way of getting between the two cities because there's just way less queues and it's just kind of cool. That's the video. Hope you all enjoyed it. Subscribe for more like this and probably even better stuff in the future. Check out flightformula.com, especially if you use Qantas frequent flyer points. I've got some tools on there that are kind of handy. I'll see you all in the next one. Bye.